to the real old parenting. Uh,
All
where the
right.
shenanigans are real. And we tell y'all that every week because we come in laughing. There is always something. And sometimes Danielle and I don't get to like actually talk until it's time to do the show. And so
Yes,
it can be a real situation. And we got disconnected, but we back. We are back
we are back.
just
We
in
are
time.
back.
All right. Good morning or afternoon, depending on where you are.
Good day. Good day.
Good
I'm
day.
trying to practice just saying good day because I never know what part of the day. I just know that it is day.
And
So
ever
good
since
day.
you moved out the country,
Yeah. I don't know, up, down, all around. I just know I'm here. I'm
I'll
here.
take it. I'll take it. All right. So you guys, we have a hot topic today because of a post. There were two posts, and one said, we don't talk enough about healing, about co-parenting with the person you're healing from, right? And I was like, wow,
Yeah.
that's powerful. So I sent it to Danielle and I was like, we should address this. And then this morning I saw a post and I'm going to read what the post said. Um, and then we're going to talk about it. Okay. So the post says, I'm feuding with my child's father. He abandoned us and left the state to get his life together. He now wants me to give him our baby and fly her to another state so he can see her. I don't trust him nor his mother with giving my child back. What do I do? Make him get a court order? Do I just allow phone calls till he does the court order? Or do I keep him blocked? I don't want to be bitter, but having to co parent from someone you're healing from is effing hard for me. Please help. I want him in his child's life, but he played me so hard, and I don't trust a thing he does because it's out of spite and selfishness. So, we're going to talk about this post because I think the
That's a
fact that
lot.
it's twice in the same week that, someone is saying, you got
Sadness.
to talk
Yeah.
about healing from the person that you're co-parenting with. And
Right.
I have had to assess myself, right? Like, am I healed
Mm-hmm.
from that trauma? And I'm not. I like the more I thought about it this
Mm-hmm.
morning, I was going, no, because if I was healed from that trauma, I would respond differently. As much as I
Right.
respond in a positive way, when I say respond differently, I'm not saying to him, I would respond to me differently, right? There are tons of things that have happened between Kayla's father and I. Um, from the moment I found out I was pregnant till today, right? Um, even the other day he said something, I was just like, dude, like what right? Like I
Right. Right.
I am constantly finding myself trying to respond in a way that doesn't create more issues.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be a very difficult situation because if you know me, you know I could be a little slick at the mouth. So to not respond in the slickness, because I have to consider, right? My rule is it's only a win if Kayla wins, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so as I was reading this post, I was going, the tap dancing that has to be done for the empowerment, for the betterment, for the safety, for the well-being of our children
Mm-hmm.
is taxing as hell, right? And so I want to talk about this letter. So there's a couple of things that we're going to address. First of all, ma'am, I want to say we hear you, okay? Because co-parenting with
Yes.
someone that you're
Yes.
healing from is really hard, and we want to like give you
Very.
some solid advice. And this is advice is not particularly for this person because I don't even know that they listen to the show, but I think that it's advice that is needed for parents everywhere because I also know a man in a very similar situation, but he actually did send his children, and now the daughter is not being returned, and that's a whole separate situation, but it
Right.
happens
Right.
on both sides of the aisle. So I want to make
Mm-hmm.
sure that we are talking about this in a way that everybody can benefit. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
All
Yes.
right.
I mean, there's similarities, and then there's drastic differences as well.
Right. And so in this situation, this letter, I'm gonna start off with girl, don't be no fool. Okay. I'm gonna start off with that. That being said, please remember that as Coach Kiana, I can say things that therapist Danielle can't say.
Right.
So
That's why
as
I've
we
been
move
quiet.
forward,
So
as we
far.
move, so far so good. Look,
So far so good.
as we move forward in this
Mm-hmm.
conversation, please understand that this is not legal advice. It's
Yeah.
legal-ish, right? Like this is
And it ain't even got the L word in it besides
okay. So
self-love and
Daniela
healthy
said,
love. Okay. So
Danielle said, no, we are not gonna put legal in this. Okay, that's fine. Uh, so Danielle, I'm gonna let you start just because you said it don't have nothing to do with legal. So now I have to rethink a couple of things I want to say.
don't even say the L word unless it's love. No, I'm being funny. But with all seriousness, there's so many things that are high priority all at once.
Right.
um in so many different categories: physical, emotional, mental. And it's
Yeah.
like, which one do
Financial
you
as well.
address first? Yeah, financial, because it's like, I'm on the plane,
And
and these plane
legal.
tickets, well,
Yeah.
say yes, and the L word. So that's not love. So but it comes down to, first things first: is my child okay? Is my child safe? Is the
Right.
decision that I'm going to make, how is that going to impact my child's safety? And some people's situation are like, oh no, they good. Okay, but with the decision that you're going to make, does that present the possibility of jeopardizing your child's safety? And sometimes it's not just about physical safety. A lot of people default to physical. It's emotional, it's
Right.
mental. You don't know, and I'm not saying, no, I'm not saying that the person who wrote the post that the father is going to do something. No, I'm speaking in general, because I'm sure there's many people in a similar situation as this. And
Right.
you do have to be mindful and realistic in the fact of, does my child have a relationship with their parent?
Right.
Not the title. The title does not entitle that person, that parent, to be a part of your child's life when they have not actively been a part of their life.
And let me say this. Actively having phone calls and video calls is not the same as physical presence. That child may be comfortable with video and phone, and they might,
Via phone.
and the father saying, "Hey, you want to see your dad?" and the kids say yes. That's not the same as I want to spend time alone without my mother here as my security blanket. That
Yeah.
they're very
And
different.
vice versa. And vice
Yeah.
versa. Yes.
And I think a lot of times people
Mhm.
will jump in and go, well, he is the father, and you should have thought of that before you lay down. People change. People change. And let's be clear, she is concerned that her child won't be returned to her for a reason.
Right. That was going to be one of the things that I hit
Okay,
on.
I'm sorry. I did say
And
you was going
so,
first. My bad.
no, but I mean, because we're going to be talking about many aspects that are all kind of like intertwined.
Mhm.
But you spoke of people change, but also people still may be about the shits, okay?
Right.
They
That
have come
change
to a
don't mean they
place.
change for the better.
Right. And so that hope factor that you, as being in a relationship with that person, that you hoped that they would change, you hope that they would get better, that kind of may have dwindled off, which is may have resulted why you guys are a part of why you guys are no longer together in the first place.
Absolutely.
So it's just that it's accepting what the reality is. And it has, I would say, it has nothing to do with you chose. Yes, you did choose, but however, as being a parent, you have the responsibility of your child's safety. You have the responsibility of doing what's in the best interest, excuse me, the best interest of your child. So it's not about a title. It's not, let me explain this because don't nobody come for me. There is a difference between not allowing your child to have any type of contact or be a part of their in their losing my words, other parent's life. There's a difference between that versus the other parent is consistent with not being there. When the other
Right. So that's
parent
not
is
alienation.
consistent with being
Absolutely.
correct, is consistent with being inconsistent. There's a big difference. So I'm speaking from the aspect of the other parent is not an active parent.
Right.
There is no relationship between your child and the other parent. And when that is the case, and when I say relationship, they the level of trust, the level of bonding that happens from being in the same space,
Right.
not visiting, not having a supervised phone call, not having a supervised visit,
Right.
whether that's a paid person or family member or family friend.
Yeah.
There's a difference. So you need, as a parent, you need to make that decision of, given what our child or children's life has been with or without this parent so far, how realistic is it, one, for our child to actually feel safe, feel comfortable? And then if there is a safety factor of what she spoke to, she's concerned about if he's even going to give their daughter back.
Right.
And those are all legitimate and all valid.
And when we have that, I think that sometimes people think, well, it's not a safety issue. It's not, this is her being bitter. Mm-mm. As a parent, now let me say this, there are people being bitter that will make these moves.
Yes.
But again, if you are not consistent and saying, well, she hasn't allowed me to be, you have not done anything to make sure that you could be. I don't buy that parent didn't allow. That parent
Mm-hmm.
won't let me. You are the other
Mm-hmm.
parent. So that moves me into another piece of advice of get legal advice.
Yeah. Yes.
Again, Danielle
It
said,
is.
don't even say my advice is
But
legally, but get
but
legal
no,
advice.
we can direct them to it. Go get it. We are not it though.
Yes. So I'm going to say consult with a family lawyer who specializes in custody
Yes.
cases. Okay.
Correct.
You will need to get that legal advice, but also make sure that you set up things right when another parent is absent. You automatically, as whoever you are, the custodial parent, when the non-custodial parent is not active, when they have been absent for a period of time, right, not through you alienating, not, what I'm saying, like you
Right.
need, like, let's be clear what
It
I'm
was their
saying.
choice.
It was
It
their
was their
choice.
choice. Whether they have excuses or not, it was their choice.
Right. So you need to be taking the steps to get legal custody. I know that sounds weird, but in America, we do not have legal custody of our kids until the court grants it. I know that sounds weird, but
Yeah.
it is the reality. And so you need to make sure that you have legal custody of your kids,
Correct.
because parental rights and legal custody, very different things. Like
They're
and I'm
different.
gonna tell y'all, look it up because it is
Yeah,
the
it
absolute
is
truth.
different.
But you need
Right.
someone that can guide you on your rights, help you understand the best legal steps to take. And then they can help you figure out, like, if court is necessary, which in this case, it definitely sounds like before you think about sending your child anywhere, you need to have legal, full, and I'm sorry, legal custody and what is it? Physical custody.
Physical. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I
Mm-hmm.
would say on that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So,
I
but
mean,
yeah,
anybody
and
could.
I'm saying, but yes, you as a parent, when you have a child with someone, you guys share custody, and there's different types of custody. There's fegal, girl. There's legal and physical.
Physical. Mhm.
And and there's certain decisions that a parent who has physical custody that can and cannot make that a parent that has full legal custody can. So,
Mhm.
like Miss Kiana had said, seek out legal counsel that specializes. That specialty is very, very important and very, very vital.
Absolutely.
given what's going on.
And I'm gonna say this because a lot of people are so against involving the courts, but sometimes you need to make sure both parents are doing what they're supposed to do.
Hmm. Hmm.
If he wants to visit your child, then he should get a court order for custody and visitation. Let me tell you why. Because a lot of people go, oh, well, that shouldn't be necessary. Let me tell you why this is a good thing. When you encourage him to get a court order for visitation, it legally binds him to certain conditions and ensures that any visitation is in the best interest of your child.
The child.
That also means that you have to abide by whatever the court is stating. So if you go, well, I just got a wild hair and I'm not letting her go. Well, she got a birthday party, so she can't go with her dad. That keeps you from doing that kind of foolishness too, right?
Right, right.
So when you get that court order, be very specific, right? In what you're looking, because you have to respond. So if you encourage him to get the court order for visitation, you have to respond in order for the court to hear both sides. And you can put your concerns, you can put what your stipulations. That way you guys are coming to an agreement. When you can't come to an agreement amongst yourselves, the courts are there
Right,
to help you, to help do it for you.
right. Yeah.
Um,
Well said. Well
But I
said.
think
Yes.
first you get the full custody, full legal custody. Then you allow, you tell him, I go ahead and get your court order visitation.
Yeah.
That's gonna be
Yeah.
necessary.
Hmm. Yes.
Okay, you got anything?
Yes.
I think
I
you
was
treading lightly over there, honey. You just like you don't
we,
know
we,
what I'm
we-
gonna
we're giving
say.
the syllabus
I
version,
promise
okay?
not to
When
put
it
your
comes to that.
license in danger. I promise.
But but no, but what you shared and what you said is very true. And it is very important for the well-being of your child or
Yeah.
children. And then with that being said, is which what I tell parents as well is you document everything. When I say everything, these days everything is evidence. Your text message is evidence. If
Mhm.
it was a phone call, you recap with a text message or you recap with the email, because everybody communicates differently. And one, it keeps a timeline, it keeps track of the facts because one thing about the court, they don't care about what you feel. They
Right.
what did and what did not. And so, two, as a parent, especially as being the primary parent, you got 50 million things you're trying to remember. So if you're being asked certain questions or having to provide certain information, you're not going to remember everything.
Yeah.
So keep track of it all. If you're like, okay, I have this stuff, I got to put it together, start putting it together now because you're going to need it. And it's not to, oh, he texted me now and I'm gonna hold this. No, it's what's in the best interest for your child, but also will help you stay on track when you do need to go to court, or if when the court is requesting documentation, because I'm letting you know they're going to request it. That's not an if. They're going to say, "Where's this? What's this? We need this. We need that.
Yeah, and
We
you're
need
gonna need to
receipts.
take
We need totals."
screenshots, right? Because the court's not gonna read your phone. Like, let's be clear about
Right.
that. They are not gonna take
Right.
you have to do this in a certain way. Send those screenshots to your
Mm-hmm.
email, and you
Right.
want to make sure that that is a part of the court document. If it's in the court document, the judge has to read it. If it's
Read
on
it.
your
Right.
phone, they will deny you the opportunity to present
Mm.
that. So you need to make sure that you put it in writing or you do a recap. And it can I say this?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
As you are communicating in email, text message, whatever the case may be, right? Again, the recap is necessary for the court. Be mindful of what you are communicating.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you, if you don't text anything that can't be blown up on the jumbotron it ain't a jumbotron,
Right.
or
But we know what you're talking about.
when you see that you done call somebody out their name, told them they ain't never gonna see their kids again. When you see that in writing in court, it's gonna feel like a
It
jumbotron.
hit
It's
different.
gonna feel
Yes.
like you got
It
a
hit
Dolby
different, right?
surround sound around this camp. So be mindful of what you text. And this is where your friends come in. This is
Right.
this is where your
Yes.
lawyer comes in. You understand what I'm saying? we probably should like get a commercial for Legal Shield or whatever legal not
Do
I don't know whatever it is.
we
But
need
I'm gonna tell
something
you, if
right?
you cannot afford a lawyer, like a retainer, get like I think it is Legal Shield or whatever. Get that because it is going to be necessary. You're going to have some sort of representation, but you need a lawyer or a friend that you can say, I'm about to send this text message. Would you help me reword it? Hell, use Chat GPT. Okay. I need this to
So if you ain't
sound
got no friends, if you ain't got
in
no
a legal
reliable
tone.
friends,
This
you
is
got
what
AI.
Right. This is what was sent to me. This is what
Right.
I would like to respond with. Please make
Yes.
my response sound friendly, but in a legal tone. Like this is me giving you the
Yes.
prompt, right?
Right. Right.
Make this
Right.
sound friendly, but in a legal and stern tone that would not make
Assertive.
me look bad in court. Like, come on now,
Right.
Chat GPT can help you out. So,
Right. But within that, I'm just, and it's going to sound funny, but I'm being very serious. If
yeah.
you cannot actually read and say the words that AI sent back to you, I need you to put in the words that you use. Okay. That you use typically
Not the cuss words.
right. So if AI come with some great, intelligent, educated,
Mhm.
words, because the vocabulary is huge, but if you can't say like, be realistic,
And
adjust and
you can
modify
tell it to write
accordingly.
it on a high school like you could say, please
Oh, I
write
didn't
this
know
on
that.
a ninth grade reading level because that makes it very relatable, right? Because they're not going to use the
Mm-hmm.
bigger words. Like, please make this for a ninth grade reading level, in your response. And that way
Yeah.
they use words that are more common
Right.
versus
Right.
more challenging, difficult, whatever the
Yes.
case may
And
be.
we're not calling nobody dumb. Okay. I'm just stating the facts. Okay. Because Red, just trust me. Okay. All right. All right. Just trying to help y'all out. So
We are not calling anybody dumb. We
we're
are
not.
saying utilize your resources so that you can
Right.
sound more intelligent. Okay. Is that a good way to put that or no?
Yes, it
Okay. Because I
is.
don't want
It
nobody to feel
is.
like we
It
calling
is.
them dumb. And
Right.
since you put that out there, like I felt like,
Yes.
okay,
I hear a lot of
maybe we
things.
are,
I hear a lot of things.
we just, I don't even want to say dumbing it down. We just making comments.
No, because I don't use big words, and I know I ain't dumb, but I'm confident with mine. Some people aren't. So, okay. Anywho, all right. But next, let's say that you that you're in a situation that you really don't want to get the courts involved
Mhm.
because you may be suspect. And I'm not being funny. I'm just presenting real life situations.
Mhm.
So court in itself is not necessarily your first go-to because there's aspects of you that you're still trying to get together.
Mhm.
Or you didn't say what you said and you already know that's going to be in the favor of the other parent. Okay.
Right.
There's also, and I'm not saying avoid legal. I'm not saying that. We're talking about options. There's also mediator. Seek
Mhm.
out a mediator. And sometimes, given the situation, a mediator may be kind of like the most effective
Right.
next step, if you will, versus, oh, hit my desk, versus legal. And with the mediator is one who is able to stay unbiased,
Right.
get all the facts. So come with your receipts, okay? Come with your information so it can properly inform the mediator on how to navigate, facilitate that meeting. Sometimes it may be more than one, okay? Let's just be honest. But within that, both parties are heard,
Mhm.
and the mediator helps with the communication between both parents, hopefully with clarifying some questions, because sometimes what was said was not what was heard, and then having clarification in regards to what was heard.
Right.
And then also the assistance on the problem solving side of it. Okay, what are the options? What are we going to decide to do? And for the most part, keeping the emotions out of it. Granted, you're going to be able to say what you want to say, however, in a respectful way, so that mom and dad can feel that they're being supported and heard, regardless of the different views
Yes.
of each other. So, but the mediator don't have no view. The view is what is our goal point? What is our
Mm.
resolution? What is our agreed resolution to visitation, to one parent asking, let me start. You know what I mean? So that can be a very helpful support and resource as well.
Absolutely. Um, and then also like when you're doing these mediations, keep a cool head, stay
Don't be
calm.
trying to flip tables.
Right. Like you
I done seen it. I'm just saying.
you gave me a visual right there. But like if you feel what was the coach's name on Lean On Me, Mr. Darnell? If you feel yourself getting ready to Mr. Darnell, don't do it, right? Because being calm and consistent is I've heard a lot of stories of parents who are like, I lost my head. I like we
Lost
were
it.
in
Yeah.
mediation, I lost my
Yeah.
head. And because it was so much built up and all that. This like before you go to mediation, you talk to your people and you get your therapist in
Yes.
order and,
I was about
you
to
get
say at
these
this point,
feelings
you should
out.
have been in therapy. Yes. And
But
you have
but
not
but
been
some
in
people
therapy.
don't, you know what I mean? So sometimes
Yeah,
you got to talk
this
to
is
that good
your
friend.
warning, not
Right.
warning. This is your supportive guidance, okay?
Right. And we're going
Go
to talk
and
about the
sign up for
support
therapy.
system because I think that that's important to address, our support systems, but
Hmm.
staying calm and being consistent in your communication, whether you're
Right.
texting it, right? Learn the
Hmm.
key words. Like
Right.
a friend of mine showed me a text message from the other parent, and she said, he never wants to go over you, or he doesn't want to go to your house all the time. And I was like, when you respond back, just say, he doesn't want to come because when he comes, you send all the work that he has missed in your
Right.
custody, in your care. And now he has to do it at my house. So the
Because
only
that's
time
called
he is
facts.
being forced to do his
Right.
homework and
Homework.
his schoolwork is
Yes.
when he is in my care.
Hmm.
That
And it's
creates
not
an
fun.
environment where he does not want to come. And if I
Hmm.
don't do it, then you complain, like, and you try to use that against me. Like, you know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
respond with the facts, but
Facts, not the
make sure
emotions.
that whatever you text can be put on that doggone jumbotron.
Right. Right. It don't mean that you're not cussing and fussing verbally, but with those fingers type, that needs to be the facts.
Absolutely. And then it's like because your emotions are high in these situations, you gotta be mindful of
Hmm.
maintaining your control, your
Right.
impulses. You have to be mindful not to react in the moment.
In the moment, right.
Stick to the facts of the
Yeah.
situation, not they calling you a bad mom or a bad dad. You don't get caught up in that because people are
Hmm.
going to say things to trigger you, right?
Right.
And let's be honest, you can be a good mother or a good father and still be a bad parent. Because in the
Hmm.
child's eyes, oh, I get to play the video games all day. Oh, I get to
Right.
go to the amusement parks. Oh, and then over
Right.
here, you won't do homework with them. You won't
Right.
allow for these things. You know what I'm saying? The parenting stuff. You doing all
Right.
the fun stuff, which makes you a
Hmm.
good mom or dad, but you don't do any of the
Hmm.
parenting stuff, which makes you a
Hmm.
bad parent. Like, let's be clear that those things, two things can
Can't pass
exist
the
at the
two
same
different.
time.
Right. Right.
So
And
as you
that.
are going through mediation and you're staying calm and you're dealing with this other parent, even outside of mediation, you still have to be calm and consistent. I want to make sure that we're clear
Yes.
about that. And I know you were going to talk about the
Yes.
support, but go.
No,
I
no, I
feel
was going
like
to
you
go
wanted to
into
say
the
something.
you said the common consistent,
Mhm.
but I was going to kind of like segue into that because I mean they're all intertwined.
Yes.
But just know that, well, you know this, remember, but I'm gonna say it out loud. You don't have to respond right away.
Mm.
You don't.
Facts.
It That does not mean avoid. It don't mean a month later. I'm
Right,
not
because you do
saying
have
that.
to respond in a
Right.
reasonable time.
But I say right away. The key word is right away. You know, you receive a text, you respond back, you don't have to respond. It doesn't have to be simultaneous.
Yes.
You can allow yourself time to calm down. Sometimes we may need some hours. Sometimes we may need like no, he didn't. And we
Yes.
gotta talk it out, and you may be good another 45 minutes later and then respond then with a more level head, or reach out to that friend who kind of would talk you down, like, yeah, he tried it, or yeah, she did. Oh, that was a good one. But let's remember what the goal is. Let's
Yes.
remember your child, your daughter, your son. And then at that time, and I don't want you to think like you're going to be totally calm. No, because the minute you even think of picking up the phone, you're going to start feeling what you felt all over again. However, you have been able to sort your thoughts. You have been able to kind of like put your words together. And the fact of technology these days, you can put your responses in the notes of your phone, and then you can put them together and copy and paste it in the text message. So you can even tell your friend, girl, what you say? Or bro, what you say? Text
Right.
it to me. You know what I mean? So just know that, get out of needing to respond back right away. That just makes me think of, you have to have the last word. Don't react in that way. That's a reaction.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Absolutely.
reaction. So be mindful of, I can pause. I can choose to pause to check me, to see what I need. How am I feeling? And how I'm feeling is going to impact how I respond with the words that I use. Okay. So pause, call a friend and pause.
Okay. Facts. And remember, we said in the previous episode, we know which friends to call and which ones.
Right.
Call the ones with the good sense.
The good sense,
The
right?
good
If it
sense.
can't be
Yes.
blown up in court, that ain't the friend we talking about, okay?
And listen,
Because she
I'm
gonna
gonna tell
be she
you,
gonna be in jail with you, in contempt with you, okay?
I know who to call, I know who not to call. And my friends know when to call me. Okay, let me put that down.
Hmm.
Danielle know when to call me. She know when not to call me. That's the best part of friendship is understanding and letting your
It
friends be
is.
themselves. Right. I
It
told a
is.
friend, I was like, take the high road, send me on the low one. Right. Because
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
got status, you know what I mean? You in ministry. Like take the high road. I got
Yeah.
you on the low one, right? Now I don't do
I'm
that for
back.
everybody, right? But there's some
Yeah.
people that I absolutely love and adore, and that's gonna be my stance. But anyway, let me get back to the subject.
Because
I
we can
want to be
segue into
clear.
anything, but
Listen, okay, because some of this is triggering for me, okay, as a
I'm
mom, as
sure.
a friend,
Yes.
like I know so many people on both sides of this aisle, and it's hard, right? But in the
Yeah.
meantime, because I want to get back to the subject, it's okay to have some temporary measures, right? If there's no court order in place, it's reasonable to only allow phone and video calls,
It is.
right? It's reasonable to say, hey, we can do video calls when we are in this place, right? I don't allow videos
Right.
all over my house. If you want to
Right.
video somebody, you sit in this spot over here off to the, or you go sit over here, but we don't have video all over the house.
Over the house.
We don't
Right.
do that.
Right.
So you
Right.
got specific spots. You could put a background up, you know what I'm saying, if it allows for. But I'm very particular about that. Just because we're out at grandma's house, that might not be the time for video, even if this is the
Right.
time that the person is calling. We're not in a place where we can video. So this can be a phone call, but you
Mm.
cannot, just you can't demand because you want to know where we are and all that.
Well,
Like it's okay to put things in perspective and allow for this is our boundary right here. This way you can still
mm.
have contact, right? They can still have
Right.
contact without worrying about her personal safety, but it's not alienating her from
Right.
spending time, virtually with her father. And
Right.
I think that
Yep.
that's a fair measure.
And it's very much so. And I have to say this kind of like as a disclaimer, that we have to be honest and acknowledge the fact that every parent isn't parenting from a healthy place.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And with that being said, yes, there are those parents who are looking to see something that may not be anything at all to
Yeah.
use against the other parent.
Right. There was a big
So
dog in the back.
I've heard
You
that
know
as
what I'm
well.
saying?
You know
Well,
what I mean? It's just
that's
like, so as we identify the different things as recommendations. It's from the space and place, once again, back to the safety of the child, physical, emotional, mental.
Yes. And
Um,
go ahead.
oh no, you go ahead, because it sounded like you were going to continue. Go ahead.
I was going to say sometimes it's better to not answer in the moment, right? Sometimes you have to, you could do that automated response where it's like, I'll call you right back or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
if you guys are in the middle of a bad moment, let's say there is a big dog in the back and your child is scared of the big dog. The dog is no threat, right? It's outside in the backyard. Your child is safe in the house, but they are crying and they're hysterical just because of the presence of the big dog.
Present.
Or
Mm-hmm.
they want to go out and play with the big dog. And you like, no, that big dog is not people friendly, that with people that they don't know. And your child
Mm-hmm.
is insistent and you're saying no. And now they're upset. Well, in the event that the other parent calls in that moment, that's not a good time to answer the phone because now they're going, well, my
Yeah.
child was crying. She wouldn't even tell me, or my child was crying and he wouldn't even.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
sometimes it's okay to send, I'll call you back. Get the
Mm-hmm.
situation under control.
Mm-hmm.
And then say, at the time she was upset because she couldn't go play with the dog. And she was just really in hysterics. And I just wanted to calm her so that you guys could have a decent conversation. And then that parent can go, you was upset. What happened?
Right.
Tell
Right.
me about,
Mm-hmm.
you understand what I'm saying? Now
Yeah.
it's not a, oh, you denied me the opportunity. No, it's sometimes things just have to be in a situation where everything is peaceful before we can come
Yeah.
before you.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay. So it's okay to set and that's part of setting boundaries, right?
Right.
I mean, because
Yeah. Right.
I
There
think
has to
it's
be boundaries. That's
fair.
my next thing I was going to say. Yes, I don't care
Okay.
who you are, and even if you have a great co-parenting relationships, and if you have a
Yeah.
great co-parenting relationships, you have boundaries,
Absolutely.
and boundaries don't magically appear. They have to be communicated. They have to be specifically communicated
Yeah.
on both parents, and also having that understanding, and then abiding by it, you know what I mean? So if you live in a different state from your child and it's 9 o'clock your time but it's 11 o'clock their time, you're not calling at 9 o'clock
Right.
because it's 9 o'clock. It's only 9. I mean, and I'm giving certain examples because these are things that I've worked with, these are things that I've heard,
Yeah.
and then, so they happen.
Yeah. And you're
Also,
not calling at
kind
6 in the morning, my time, just because it's 9 your
I
time.
mean, like,
Like
right,
she
and
ain't
and
up.
also when the child is with the other parent, we'll just say the custodial to keep it from him and her and all that. The custodial parent, you're not calling every 10, you're not texting every 10, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or 45 minutes. Allow your child to enjoy their time with their other parent. You
Yes.
don't need check-ins. Granted, if there is a safety risk, if there is something that's going on, yeah, you calling mama or you calling daddy because it is a crisis, there is an urgent matter. However, if things are easy peasy and it's a typical visit, allow your child to be with their parent, and vice versa. Allow them to have that time.
Now, I feel like check-ins are okay, as long as it's not overwhelming, right? So it's like, hey, I'm calling in to say hi, like how's your day going, right? I think that
Okay.
those are okay. So what y'all doing? Who going? How come they coming too? How come it just can't be you and your dad
So
or
it's
you
a
and your mom?
questioning.
Right, it's the question. But a check because I'm gonna check in. Okay.
Well, let
Hey,
me say
how
this.
we
Let
doing?
me
We
let
good?
me add more emphasis because I see Coach Kiana is one of them mamas. Okay, so
I,
with that being
yes, I'm
said,
is. Yes,
which is
I'm is.
understandable, but being age appropriate. So at
Right.
let's see, 6 and 7, checking in frequently is okay and is understood.
Yeah.
At 14, 15, checking in every 30 minutes is
Well,
not
never
needed.
ever 30 minutes, but
No, but I'm speaking. So
a
when I'm saying
mid-morning
checking
10
in, that's what
o'clock
I'm
and like
speaking
6
to.
o'clock. Those are good check-in times. Those are
So right, but I'm speaking to the fact that parents are calling within a handful of times within 45-minute intervals.
Mhm.
It's clearly like, no, how can your child even remotely even do anything with the parent, let alone enjoy themselves
Right.
with
Calling all day.
the anticipation of mom or daddy calling or texting and he or she having to give a report.
Hmm.
So that's where I'm coming from. I'm not saying don't have no contact with your child, but some parents don't, because that level of trust has been developed. It doesn't mean that they don't love their children, but that level of trust in the other parent has been shown and created. So it's like, okay, honey, I'll see you on tomorrow, or I'll see you on Sunday, and
Right.
and they may check in late Saturday night, or when I say check in or communicate. So I'm speaking from the aspect of it's multiple calls, it's multiple text messages, and it's my child. No, it's you guys' child together or children. Respect the other parent's time, assuming that that's also reciprocated when their child's with you.
Yeah.
So being very clear on your boundaries, communicating. You can do not assume. Well, he knew or she knew, and whenever parents say that, and I my finishing of the statement is they knew because you told them specifically, and they just look at me, because that's rarely the case.
Aha.
That's
That's
rarely
the
the
I got
case.
you moment. Did you clearly communicate that? Very good. Very good. You had mentioned, or we had mentioned, just, that friend that you can talk
Oh,
to. So
yes.
I want to reiterate that you need a support system, right? And I get it. Like sometimes we need those friends that's willing to take that ride.
Right.
Don't put that out there. But
Yeah.
having those friends and family, that support group, the therapist, whatever, talking to people who have been through similar situations can provide like that emotional support, but
Yes.
it also is that practical advice. You need people who can give you both,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
but that practical advice, because what Danielle say, the courts don't care nothing about your emotions. They
They
don't care
don't
anything about your feelings. You
at
have to
all.
get all that out before you get to
Yeah.
court. And a lawyer will help you do that. A lawyer will say, we're not saying that part because the court's not going to care. We're going to stick
Mm-hmm.
to the facts. We're going to stick to the facts. What happened? What was the result? Not how you felt, but very specific,
Right.
and be particular about it. So you need your support system. I really hope you're getting that. Like whoever
Yeah.
is in these situations, do you have the support system that you need? Because that's going to be a major part.
And then the other aspect of that is the therapy. Um,
Yes.
is the court involved or not involved? It's very, very difficult emotionally, mentally, when you and the other parent are not seeing eye to eye
Hmm.
and trying to parent as best as you possibly can or know how, which still may not be the best, you know what I mean, for the
Right.
child. But emotionally, you're a person first. You're going to have some feelings, you're going to have some thoughts, and you need to have the proper level of support in addition to, I don't want to say outside of, but in addition to your friends. Sometimes they get real deep
Yeah.
in them trenches, okay? And you may like, okay, I need somebody who's not tied to my space,
Hmm.
um I need someone because I'm having some deeper feelings. I'm having some deeper thoughts. I'm having some stuff that I'm having a hard time dealing with that either usually doesn't take this long for me to kind of get out of, or I've never been in this space emotionally before.
Right. And that therapist is going to give you that the safe space and the coping strategies.
Right.
Yeah. And
And
that's
direct you to legal counsel. So
right.
just confirm, like you got attorney, right? Okay, make sure. But yes, and correct, a therapist will make recommendations and references to kind of like your situation at hand, and should be able to assist you on where you can go to get that, kind of like all the different aspects of what you would need for your support and also for your situation.
Yes. And while you are documenting everything, take the time to journal a little bit, right? You could do a video journal, you can write it out. I like both. I do both. Sometimes the video journaling allows me to just get it out without having to like, because I'll start correcting my
Right.
English. I'm like redoing my sentences. Like, I don't like this handwriting. And so
Right.
sometimes I
It's
go
why
through
I
all of
stopped
that.
journaling.
Right.
I can
So
write pretty for everybody else when they come to me like scribbles. Anyways, go ahead.
right. So my
So
video journals allow me to get it out, right? And then I can go back and listen to them and take like the important things, the non-emotional things, right? Then I
yes,
can journal
ma'am.
that stuff because that is what's going to go to court. You understand what I'm saying?
Right,
Being able
right,
to,
right.
you know, I do the video journaling because it allows me the release that I need.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I get those emotions
Yes.
out. I get to
Right.
reflect on the experience. I get
Mm-hmm.
to track my healing progress, right? So and then when you go back and you journal, yeah, and your journal is for you. Like you're not journaling for the purpose of
The
court,
person.
but you're getting
Right.
the things out, and then you might have to go back to your court journal and
Mm-hmm.
then write those points. But sometimes it's better to just get it out first,
Yes,
right?
yes. And I want to give myself a shameless plug, but if you are one who is not sure on how to journal, but you're interested in doing it, or don't even know what journaling is, but know you need to do something, I will say the end of August, I have a journal for moms. And basically, it's a guided journal that assists with guiding moms from parenting from a trauma place to
Yes.
parenting from a healed space. So, more details to come, but that can be something that can kind of guide you, uplift you, and support you as well.
Commercial. Okay. But oh no, in the movie, and Keenan, I think it was Keenan everywhere would pop up and go, message. So
Right. Yes, it was. Took us back. Yes. Oh, goodness.
commercial. All right, but I want to because we talked about like because in the letter she said it's hard to co-parent with the person that you're healing from, and that's why
Healing
I'm
from.
suggesting these.
Right.
You
Yes.
mentioned the therapy and the
Yes.
counselor, and I mentioned the journaling. Um,
Right.
but because there's so many levels to healing, right?
There
And being able to
is.
allow yourself to feel and express your emotions, whether it's through crying, talking to a friend, engaging
Yes.
in creative
Yes.
outlets like art or music, either way, you're going to have to get it out. Because I think a lot
Right.
of times what we do is we go, well, I'm healing, and what's actually happening is we're coping. It's not the
Right.
same as healing. And so we just go, I'm just going to avoid it, or I'm not going to talk about it. That is coping. That is not healing. To heal, you have to get it out. You have
Yeah.
to get it out. And
Yeah.
then you can get quiet, right? And I can
Right.
be like,
Or it can be flipped, as long as this is falling under the avoidance aspect. But if you need a couple of days or two kind of just to get
yeah,
yourself together or just to get a grasp on what you're experiencing, what you're feeling, or what has happened, and then be like, okay, let me talk to someone. But yes, some people aren't like jumping in there ready to talk about it all, and because they can't, and that may not be how their brain functions. That may not be how they just even process feelings in general. So it shouldn't be a month, is what I'm getting at. No,
okay.
maybe a couple of days, a week max, but you should be talking to someone.
Yeah. And then so just some healing strategies like there's meditation, right?
Yeah.
Where you stay present and manage your stress. There are several apps you can go to that'll help guide you through relaxation and breathing techniques and exercises and things like that. I'm mindful. I was listening to one app and they were like giving you like something to say to yourself. And then the app said that there was no literal translation. So I was like, nah, I don't be speaking stuff I don't know. I'm very clear that I will not be chanting anything that is not it's like
Right.
so you
You
want
should
me to
not be
say
saying.
what? Like for all I know, I'm putting a curse on myself. I will not be participating in that foolishness. So I am mindful of that.
Right. Make sure you know what you're saying, right?
Yeah, because what we're not doing that. So,
Oh
but
goodness,
that
that
does
is
not
too
mean
funny.
that you cannot have mindfulness and meditation and things like that.
Right,
Um,
right.
Danielle, I know
And
you probably got a bunch
yes,
of mental healing stuff.
yeah, there was, and there are like, like Coach Yada was referencing, there are various apps. There's an app for everything, you know, is it worth the data on your phone, right, or the space on your phone? So, you know, there, even if it's a free version of one you paid for.
Yeah.
I was about to digress, but yes, there are many apps that are out there that can be with you because our phone are always with us.
Mhm.
So a part of kind of like what I call just daily self care is, I'll share with me. I use the Calm app. I've used the Calm app since my daughter was born. And one, you got a bang for your buck because it was free and you had a lot of different options, and it has increased in options since then. But anyways, um, but I have in the morning, I'm not going to social media.
Mhm.
I'm going to my Calm app to do mindfulness, to slow down my thoughts, to have someone else guide me through some guided meditation.
Yeah.
So, and then within each meditation series, I guess you will call it, they're speaking English. I understand. For me, my primary language is English, and am understanding what's being taught and what's being explained, but there's kind of like a lesson in it related to the fact of triggers related to
Yeah.
our senses, how we may be emotionally reacting to something or physically reacting, and just being mindful of those things. So that's something that I do to where I'm not first thing in the morning stimulating my brain with stuff.
Yeah.
I am, you know how you have to, or you should like warm up your car. I'm warming up my brain. Okay. I'm warming up my brain with the right stuff. So, and there's many more,
And
but
coffee will be involved.
yes, and the coffee is in tow while it's warming up with the mindfulness. I'm mindfully drinking my coffee. But the Calm app, and there's many others, but just be and even if you don't have a phone or even don't even want to download an app, YouTube, you type in relaxation, type in mindfulness. You can type in, relaxation for moms. You can type in anything and scroll and pick what resonates with you. So it doesn't have
Right.
to cost anything, and it doesn't have to take up half your day either. Because at the end of the day, what moms don't have is more time. Okay. So we need to be realistic in the fact of what works for us in that day, in that week, in that month.
Right.
Um, Something else that I have done more consistently is positive affirmations.
Mm.
Um,
Yes.
it sounds cliche, but I think depending on where you are and the phase of life that you're in and whatever you're dealing with at that moment and at that time determines the affirmation that speaks to you versus 20 years ago or even versus last month.
Right.
So write it on your mirror. Because what we gonna do is look in the mirror. So write it on your mirror, whether that's with lipstick or a sticky note. Um, Even with Pinterest, you can, download some or make you a board or whatever the case may be. But the point is, have it in different places that you can see it without you having to intentionally, oh, let me look at it every time. No, it just needs to be in a place where you see it. And sometimes it's just a reminder, like, okay, I needed that. And you don't
Yeah.
realize how helpful that it can be given different phases or aspects of life that you're experiencing.
And when you're thinking of your positive affirmations, speak directly to your situation. Um, a positive affirmation you can use in a situation, um, you know, and don't think about what you want. Like, don't say my daughter won't be traumatized. You say
She,
the relationship between my daughter and her father is flourishing and positive. The
yes.
relationship between myself and say that person's name is
Mm-hmm.
flourishing and positive. That don't mean y'all getting back together. It's just
Right.
flourishing and positive, right? Like that
Mm-hmm.
is you want to speak what you want to see, and you say it till you see it.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And then in
Yeah.
this motion, these moments, have some self compassion. Be kind to
Yeah.
you. Speak life over you. Understand that healing takes time, and it's okay to have those ups and downs because they're going to happen. But treat yourself with the same compassion you would offer to your daughter, with the same compassion you would offer to your friend.
Right.
Danielle reminds me of that often. What would you say to your client? What would you say? And I have to remind myself, ooh, let me step back. What would I say to my client in this situation? Let me be my own client, because we can get caught up in the emotion. Whoa, why did this happen? No, no, no. What would I say to my client? Because I speak to my clients. Now, some of them I speak too harshly, but they understand why. But for the most part, I am very compassionate to them. And so I have to remind myself, be compassionate to me. And I want you to do that as a parent. Be compassionate to yourself. Okay. Of course, there's, the physical healing that you can do, to exercise. Like, I'm not one of those people that after I exercise, I feel like I could take over the world. I don't feel
I
any.
do. That's me.
Yeah, I'm not that person.
I'm like, let's run some up for us now. That's just how my brain functions. So
For me, I put on my boxing gloves and I hit the bag with the person in mind most times until I can't do it no more. And then I'll be like, all right, I won this round. Like
all right, whatever works, as long as it's safe, all right. Everybody's safe though.
It's much safer for me to hit the bag than to hit the
I
person.
agree. I agree. Another aspect of just the physicality is resting.
Yeah.
Resting. I mean, a lot of people default, do think of physical exercise, but allowing your body to rest because your brain is mentally exhausted.
Yes. And resting
that
is a task.
It is, because a lot of people don't know how to sit down. Me included. It's like one more thing, one more thing, one more thing. No, it ain't personal. Okay. No, I just know a lot of our toes just went like this because it's like, yes, I was talking to you.
Wait, hold on.
All of us.
A lot of our toes did what now?
Yes. So y'all know what I mean. Because there's always something to do, though. There's always something to do. So sit down, be still. And it's not something that has to be earned.
Yeah, absolutely. And then eat healthy. When we're feeding our bodies bad things, we're agitated, right? We eating hot chips, which has been, my kryptonite for a year now. We are agitated. You eating things that are clogging your arteries and not making you feel well. That is going to trickle into your everyday life, and it's going to be a part of your response. Get some healthy, balanced food, right? Some green leafy vegetables, some fruit, just
it's all about balance. It's all about balance.
Right. But especially when you're in high stress situations, we tend to want comfort food, but that comfort food tends to be making our inner feelings worse. And so they come out as bad feelings. And so we want to be mindful of that. All right. And then it was one more. We talked about setting boundaries already. So and we talked about the support system. So engage in social activities. That's going to be listen, depending on who you are, because all of us are not for the social activities. I am very limited. I can only people for so long. And my friends are aware, right? I could be at the party and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go. And they're like, you just got here. And then one of my friends was like, it's not over. It's only 6:30. She's like, unless you done people in. Because if you done people in, we're gonna see you another time. I am done people in, right? But I spend time doing those activities with people I enjoy. And then when I'm ready to go, I go. But getting out and making it happen, socializing,
making it a point too.
That just creating that new normalcy, right? Some of us are dealing with very young kids, so we are still in postpartum depression. Don't let people tell you, oh, your child is a year, so you shouldn't still be feeling that. I don't know what the boundary is on that or what the time frame is on postpartum
depression. Studies are not correct. No.
Okay.
Your child could be 3.
Right. Now, if your child is 13, it's
that's something different.
Not postpartum. But that does not mean that you're not going through stuff. Yeah,
Right. I was just about to say, right, 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 right.
absolutely. Anything else, Danielle?
No, it's very rare when I say I got nothing else to say, but no, I think we gave some good highlight points. I would say y'all save this because if you didn't take notes the second time you listen to it, take notes because we gave some buzzwords, if you will, that
Mhm.
you should be using, and kind of like in replace of other wording that you may have been using to communicate, and also just kind of just things to remember. We all know somebody who has a child and they're doing their best to co-parent, and co-parenting is a struggle. So share the show.
And you know what? Let me, because I that made me think of something.
Okay.
I'm thinking of two things. So prayer is one, right? Or
Hmm.
whatever you do, but I for me it's prayer. I'm not here to tell you
Hmm.
how to do your thing. But also engaging in quality time with your kid, right? Modeling those healthy coping, like that spending that joyful time, right? It could be video games, it could be card games, it could be board games. I'm thinking of the things that we have in our house, right?
Hmm.
It could be, just going for a nature walk. It could be, we're gonna walk to grandma's house because it's close enough and it's not too hot, which is not what's going on right now. But
Right. It's not the case currently,
currently
but
we
it'll
are
come one day.
driving from one driveway to the other, right? Literally, my mom is two driveways away. We're going to drive this. We're not walking in 100 degrees.
Right.
But we have to have that joyful time with our kids, and create those positive memories. Creating
Yeah.
those positive memories and send, like I've been sending Kayla emails since she was a little kid, like probably before she was born. I feel like I set up her email. So I send her videos, I send her just tons of things that are for us, right? And then when the
Hmm.
mailbox got full, it was so, and I'm saying that because I don't want y'all to spend time sending a bunch of emails and then they like, hey, she can't get in her email because it's clogged. So you can set it up like I have like the extra space in my Gmail. So I go into
Right.
my Google Docs and I have a folder for her that I share with her. And in that way, all those memories and things are in that folder. And it gives me a space to go back and remember, like, hey, this is a good time. And this and I go back to my prayer and I go, God, please restore this. Please, you know what I mean? Like, please remind us
Yeah.
of this. Please, bring this kind of joy into
Yes.
today.
Yes.
Because it don't have to be a bad situation for you to go through that. It could be good times.
Right.
And now
Right.
you guys are sitting together and talking about like,
Hmm.
this is why mommy wrote this. And this, you understand what I'm saying? You can
Right.
create whatever
Right.
moment you want.
Hmm.
And then when I go back into my prayer time, which is extremely important for me, that spiritual healing of it all,
Hmm.
because as I go through, I'm very much connected. Like recently, Kayla was like, "Mommy, it just seems like you know things that nobody else would know." And I'm like, I am very prayerful and I'm connected. Like me and God talk about
Hmm.
you all the time. She was
Hmm.
recently with her dad. They spent the week together, and she was like, she calls me. She's like, "Mommy," because I've been saying no to the motorcycle. Right, her dad rides motorcycles, and she was just like, "Mommy." So we went to go get on the motorcycle, and it wouldn't start. Did you put a spell on that motorcycle? I said, no, baby, mommy put a prayer on the motorcycle. I didn't put a
Right.
prayer on it. I put a prayer on it. What I prayed was that God keep you guys safe in whatever
Safe
you do,
and whatever
right?
that
Now, this
entails.
happened
Right.
because they was at the beach and I felt like her father should have been a little closer. He was like, I'm 3 steps away. And I was like, okay, but if that current can take her in one step, you better get to her, right? And so
Right.
my prayer was that everything they do be safe, they be safe
Hmm. Hmm.
and unharmed. So if the bike didn't start, as far as I'm
Well, there
concerned,
you go.
it was not a
There's the
spell.
message.
I don't work in spells. I work in prayer. Okay. And
Hmm.
so bam.
Hmm.
Uh, so we can end it right there. You guys, I hope that this episode was helpful. Again, you can write us your personal letters. Sometimes you guys write us emails and then you like, but just respond to me, not on the show. Ma'am, please please don't do that. No, we will respond, but please,
We
like,
won't we
let us.
won't identify who you are.
Right, we know how to do it
Just
anonymously, but
mhm.
can you please just let us just talk to you directly? Because we don't know this lady, right? We don't know if
Right.
she's a fan or not. Like, and we would love to.
Right. But she
But if
shared
you
with the
don't,
world.
but if
So
you don't email us, let us share. All right. Very, very good. All
mm,
right. We are out of here. We will catch you guys on the next episode of The Real on Parenting. Since I said send us an email, send it to therealonparenting@gmail.com. And we'll talk to y'all later. Have an amazing day.